Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharlz, and I'm back with a vlog to explain my recent absence. So I'm gonna be honest, the reason I have not uploaded for such a long time is because I just burnt out. I've had so many things to do over the past few months, and I'm upset that it came to this, but my vlog was the thing that was hit the hardest. So the main reason being is that around the time that I did the student elections, so all the way back in March, I I was just burning a candle at both ends. I was going back and forth between Coventry and Birmingham. I had job interviews because I had a freelance job, and that contract I signed, and I was quite happy about it because it was something that would be able to sustain me for I guess the continuation of my masters. And then the client I was dealing with, he turned out to not be as professional as I thought he would be. He ended up it was a whole mess, but all in all, I didn't get to keep that contract, which meant that I had to take up additional jobs to the jobs that I wanted to have. So not only was I doing two jobs on campus, I also had an additional job as well that I did online. I had the student elections to do. And yeah, I was part of two sports teams. Well, I say teams, two sports clubs, and I feel like I didn't get to do as much as I would have wanted to do. So I spent a lot of time with the cheerleaders, and that was great. I absolutely loved being a part of the Devils this year, and you know, if I was here for longer, I would do the whole experience all over again. I had a great time. But the Thai boxing group is the one that I didn't see as much of. So I went with them on the international tour to Thessaloniki, and I've recorded all of that, and that will definitely go up on the vlog once I can edit it. Because right now I have finished my master's degree finally. I handed in my last piece of coursework just yesterday, and then I had a job interview earlier today. So that's the reason why, although I'm kind of dressed up in clothes that I have not worn yet, I have not had the chance to wear this lovely dress. So you know, it's got like the bow pattern on it and everything. Very, very Mars agejo-esque. And also, yes, this bow as well. This is a bit out of my comfort zone. I was kind of nervous about putting on a bow like this. I'm like, oh my gosh, but it suits the hair. It suits the hair because I'm not getting braids done yet. But all in all, yeah, I went on the international tour with the Thai boxing group. I had a great time with them. Hung out with them a couple more times since returning to Coventry. But in terms of training, because of how overworked I was, Thai boxing takes up a lot of energy. And I was still doing my weight loss journey. I still was doing the marathon training. And it was just difficult. I was tired all the time. I'd show up to training. I wasn't breathing right. And because of that, it made it difficult for me to do that goal on top of my other ones. So cheerleading, never had the chance to do that before. It was completely out of my comfort zone. Marathon, new. Weight loss, done it before, but doing it again, and it was a lot more difficult. But Thai boxing was something that I've been doing since 2019, even if it's been on and off thanks to the pandemic and then moving to Japan. So I did not expect to go back to the gym and have people ask me, oh, you know, are you brand new? Have you ever done it before? It felt so bad at first because I knew I was not that bad. I wasn't good, but I wasn't bad. Like, for somebody to assume I've never done Thai boxing before, it just took a lot of getting used to, having your ego bruised a few times as you're trying to get back into it. But also I noticed that I started having new things that I was worried about out of nowhere. So I don't know, like I get keloids from old piercings now, and I never used to. So I was just so scared about somebody clocking me in the nose and me getting a keloid on my face because I love my face. I did not want to get a keloid on my nose. So all these weird things that were popping up in my mind about Thai boxing, I decided to take a bit of a break from it anyway. I do want to go back, but it was just a lot for me. So fitness wise, anyway, I lost 5 stone in the past year, so yay. But I'm having water weight issues again. That's the only thing, is that when deadline season hit, I went back to Birmingham for a couple of weeks, and I've come back. Apparently, I've gained 9 kilos in 2 weeks, which makes no sense. I don't know what kind of food I could have been eating. ChatGPT reckons it's just water weight. I don't know. It's just things like this with my health that made Thai boxing so difficult, because I'd be fine and I'd be stable and I'd be having a great time, and then one blip and it's all over. And I think that's my biggest issue with the sport, is because I don't know, I have a weird health situation where I'll be fine and then I'll do something high intensity and then I'll just get tired out and it just takes me ages to recover or whatever. And it was happening again. So even though the cheerleading and everything was going fine, I just had those kinds of issues. And then just to add to that, so the marathon went brilliantly. I mean, I completed it. Okay, I completed the marathon and I'm very happy about it. I got the medal, went past the finish line. But the only problem is my legs swelled up really badly, because it was at the time the record hottest day of the year, and I took something on the course that I should not have taken, and it didn't agree with me. And because I'm already insulin resistant, I react weirdly to sugar. My legs just swelled up and I was in so much pain, and I had to walk the majority of the marathon because of how badly swelled my legs were. Like, the doctors said they didn't think I'd be able to complete it. I persisted, I completed it, and yeah, London Marathon 2025 finisher is me. So that was a lot in terms of fitness, weight loss, and everything else. But yeah, it was just exhausting, I guess, because all of my fitness goals were around the marathon. So it was just about, enduring cardio, long distance. And I was also trying to lose weight. So yes, I was losing the weight. And yes, I did get to the point where I could finish the marathon, despite my legs swelling up. But I wasn't getting fit in a way that was helping me become a decent Thai boxer. So in the next few months, now that I've finished my coursework and whatever, I mean, since then anyway, I've just focused on upping my protein and things, and until recently I hadn't seen any like bad weight fluctuations or anything. I continued to lose weight after the marathon. I continued to maintain healthy levels and everything, but it's only very recently now, apparently I've swelled up or whatever, these mystery 9 kilos over 2 weeks. So I'm gonna sort out my dietary stuff again. I think it's because carbs and salt, I did try and cut the carbs back, and that did help at first, but as always, when you eat the carbs again, yeah, your body does weird things when you're insulin resistant. So I just want to focus on that health wise. But in terms of the burnout, so I've had a brilliant time at Warwick, but it was just a few things just hit me all at once in May, and I kind of struggled in a way to deal with it, because it was like I was closer to somebody and then they turned out to be a certain way, and the way that they reacted to things became difficult. So I was elected president of the Postgraduate Society, yay, towards either like early May or late April. It was like just before all of this stuff started happening. So I was quite close to somebody, and part of the reason that I was put off on doing the vlog again was because a lot of the footage that I had, I was doing things with that person. So they would be around in the vlog and whatever, and I just didn't really want to go through all of the footage with them. And looking back, it's a hindsight issue as well, where you're looking at yourself with somebody and you're thinking, you know, who knew that person would turn out that way? Like, you couldn't. Yeah, so in terms of that one person, it was kind of like all at once they just unloaded publicly, and it was a whole mess. And because I was in a position of power in the group now, I had to deal with it both professionally and personally. And I was kind of overwhelmed with that. But then also at the same time, I had another issue with a different person who I'd gotten to know quite well, who I was talking to for a bit, and then I stopped talking to them, and they reacted in a way that I didn't expect, but I felt quite unsettled. And yeah, it was difficult because, unlike the first person who nobody knew, whatever, this person was somebody who was quite well known in some of the circles I was in, and was quite well liked, and blah 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 blah. And with me, it's always like, if somebody has an issue with me in a group, I just don't even consider that the group is ever really gonna side with me or back with me on anything. It's not that I even asked the group to back with me, because all of this was just between me and this one person. It wasn't a group issue. But that person had clearly been going and saying things, because other people would come up to me to show concern for me when I hadn't said anything. So it just made me realize that the other person had probably said some things to other people that had made them, I mean, it still seemed like they'd understood that the other person was in the wrong and not me. But when other people are concerned about you based on what somebody else is saying, and you don't even know what the other person is actually saying about you, it just kind of like, the person's behavior when it was just the two of us unsettled me anyway. But everybody else being concerned on my behalf, with me none the wiser to whatever was going on behind my back, that made me feel. So that happened with this person, and also the first person happened within a couple of days of each other. So I really was not in the mood to sit and go through my vlogs and, you know, show what a time I was having on campus and blah 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 blah, when it was like the rug had just been pulled out from underneath me socially. And the problem is, when you get to a certain point in the year, a lot of the undergrads, they leave, they do things. So a lot of my the people who I got along with in the more undergrad circles, they had left campus. So it was like, I didn't really have anybody outside of the various postgraduate groups that I was in. And now people were acting up towards me, and I had nobody. So I kind of was going through it socially. And then also, being the president of the postgraduate society, I had to deal with things in a professional manner. But thankfully, the people that have had my back in this situation, you know, have heard me out when I've been stressed or whatever, because I'm not a person who's gonna sit and complain about, oh, he's done this and she's done that and blah blah blah, blah. Yeah, I can have a good rant or whatever, but as far as I was concerned with the second person, it was just an issue between me, and it wasn't even an issue. I didn't know it was an issue, but they had clearly gone to other people and voiced their grievances before. They never actually voiced their grievances to me, they just acted out at a later date. So it was like, we stopped talking. I thought everything was normal. And then I bumped into them a few weeks later on campus, and at first, like, when they were just on their own, fine, same as always, pleasant, you know, same person, good. But then I bumped into them maybe a day later with the lad group, and I saw how their behaviour changed when my attention went to other people in the group instead of them. And just from clocking that, I was like, somebody's throwing a tantrum. But I don't know what they said behind my back to make other people concerned for me, when it was just a wild situation. But it did affect me, because I'm thinking all the people are just acting crazy right now around me. Is it worth it coming into these social circles anymore? Is it going to be more of a detriment than it's going to be a benefit to me? But ultimately, I'm happy that I thugged it out, because I've had a good few months. It hasn't been as good as the first 2 terms were. Even when I had that fever in first term that nearly took me out, I had a lot of fun outside of the fever. Second term was really good. International travel, getting to integrate with both of my sports teams instead of just the one. The type of work that I did as well was really fun. I loved the projects that I did within my department. But third term for me was just really stressful, because it was about money, it was about graduation. I also found out I wasn't getting on the PhD program that I wanted to go onto, so it's what now? Then it's the legal journey again, looking for jobs, looking for vac schemes, and getting nothing again, waiting to hear back from people. The only thing that went well was my weight loss, if I'm being honest, and apparently now I've bloated up again. But yeah, it was quite a lot to go through all at once, and it was really starting to get to me, because even when it came to jobs, I'm lucky in terms of getting interviews. I think I've had quite a few interviews this year, and they've gone quite well. But one time I had one interview where so the day before, I was volunteering at a festival, and brilliant day, but the problem was, the few days before I'd been working as well. So I was quite tired by the time the next day, the day of the interview, I was quite tired. And because I was tired, I don't know, I was just tired. I don't think I did as well as I could have done in the interview. But also, to add an extra layer, the way that one of the interviewers was towards me was, I mean, she made the other person who was interviewing me feel uncomfortable as well. So it's not just me being a problem. But I took a bit of a knock, because I've had so many interviews where, you get an interview and that person's not going to hire you, and they're kind of miserable or whatever. But her reaction was the worst one I've ever had from any interviewer that I've had I'm 27 now. I've had job interviews since I was about 16. And I can't recall an interviewer ever being like her, ever. I've had some miserable interviewers, but it wasn't just misery. It was when I started mentioning my work experience in Japan in particular. She went from being kind of pleasant to like sitting on the edge of a seat, and then I noticed, at first I thought it was her paying attention to what I was saying. It looked like, oh, she's taken an interest to what I'm saying now. This is good. But then after I finished my example of Japan, her whole expression just soured, and she just sat on her seat just looking at me, and she just disengaged. And the other person who was interviewing me at the same time, after that, he just kept trying to bring her back in and going, what do you think? And she just sat there just giving me a dirty look, like, until the interview had finished. And at the time, I just stopped paying attention to her. I think that's just what I do. If somebody's gonna sit there and give me like a stank expression, I just mentally clock out. I just started talking to the man there, and he was carrying on with the rapport. He seemed to have a positive view of me, but she just, was just looking at me with this look of disgust. And that interview, it knocked me a bit, because at the time I was quite tired, and I've been going back and forth between Birmingham and Coventry, doing all of these job interviews, doing these events and things. I mean, the same day I had to do a pub quiz on campus, so the postgraduate pub quiz, what we always do, I co-hosted it, yay, for that particular week. And I just sat down and I thought to myself, I'm always doing a million and one things, you know, and I get them done and I do them really well. But when things actually affect me, like things like that wouldn't normally, like, I'd probably walk away and just think, oh, she was a this and a, you know, she wasn't very happy about it, and, you know, whatever, you know, it's better than working for her, and then just move on. But I think that particular interview at that time, it did knock me, and I just thought to myself, I'm terrible at like interviews, and I need to upskill. So like the first thing I did was I went to one of my friends and I asked him about how I give star examples, and I says to him, you know, everything nowadays is star examples. When I was growing up, and I mean I say that like I'm really old, but when I was growing up, I just used to give a general example, and I was always told that I was very good in interviews because I'm a good speaker and I have a lot of things to say and I can word it very well. I mean, the interview that I had today, this morning now, I had to do a presentation before the interview, and I'm always scared that I'm going to ramble, but I was given 10 minutes and I done it in about like 9:30, and as soon as I finished, they said to me, oh, you know, that was a very comprehensive interview. I don't even think we've got many questions now because you've answered most things. So, I mean, they did find questions to ask me in the end, but the point is, I say what needs to be said and I'm good at covering things. But when it's an interview, everyone wants star, and I can give a star example, but I'm not sure if it's my examples or if it's just where I'm interviewing at or the particular time. People keep telling me it's about luck. But I had an interview for a law firm a couple of months back, and this particular interview kind of knocked me because I was put forward by a recruiter. It's a law firm that I'm very familiar with. I've been to a few times. I've attended their events. It was a role that I believe would have been perfect for entry level, and they even said to me that I was at the perfect time or space in my education slash career journey to do a job like that. So I was really, you know, I was quite positive about it. It was a few stages of interviews and this was the first stage. But then when they rejected me, in the feedback they said, given my lack of experience, and I thought, what do I have a lack of experience in exactly? Like, my CV is so packed. I have multiple CVs with all these different experiences on there, from, you know, anything, whether it's legal experience, hospitality and bar work, if it's different countries. I've studied in 3, I've worked in 4 to 5 if you count the remote Beijing internship I did. I was just so confused because I'm thinking, what do I lack experience in this particular niche? I've hosted webinars and seminars on this niche since 2019, so before COVID. That's when I first found out about this niche, and that was before the niche was even called what it is now called. So I was confused about how I would have a lack of experience, and my recruiter just said to me that it's probably just one of those things. I personally believe they had somebody in mind already because I was meant to be interviewing for 3 roles initially, and they said when I got into the interview, oh, the interview is now only for 1 role because we found other people for the other 2. So I think they found a 3rd person for this role. But that's not really the point. The point is, I look at the feedback that I get and I always want to improve. And I think that I've spent so much of my life trying to improve, and there's nothing wrong with improvement. There's nothing wrong with trying to be better in places where you think you're a bit weaker. But I think that I've never just let myself exist as I am. It's always, I need to fix, I need to be better. I can't be caught slacking. And I always feel like when I'm overworked and stressed out and the cracks start to show and other people notice it, it's a sign that, I don't know, I'm not doing as well as I should be. And I think it's kind of unfair to myself that I have those standards, I guess. But it's not like I want to be perfect. It's just I don't realise when I'm wearing myself thin because I don't understand what it looks like. I mean, I'm built to just get through things and push through things and survive in the best way possible. I'm not really somebody who understands resting when I feel like if I'm not doing something, then I am resting, but that's not the case. So now that my masters is over, I want to rest again. I want to enjoy being me, because I feel like the only times I've been myself has been when it comes to fashion, makeup, blah 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 blah. You know, when I get ready for a night out, or when I get ready to go to postgraduate society and I'm all dressed up and, you know, whatever, that's my outlet, and that's it. And it's something that you have to do anyway. You have to get up and make yourself look presentable anyway. That's something that needs to be done. But it's like, if I'm going to do something that I need to do, I might as well do it in a way that I like. And I might as well, you know, let that little bit of rebellious spirit out in a way that I can. And I remember saying at the start of the year that I was talking about potentially quitting Gyaru. And it's not because I actually want to quit. It's just because I'm getting older, and the way that I look at myself and I see myself, my facial features in the makeup, it's changing. Like, I look really pretty, I think, with like the clean girl aesthetic. Like, my makeup right now, clean girl, clean. You know, you got the little swoop, and then not too much concealer. My eyes are, there's no eyeliner, there's no lashes. My brows are probably, I don't know, are they a bit straight for clean girl? I don't know. But this is me, and I think I look very pretty, and no denying that whatsoever. But when I put all the makeup on for Gyaru, I look at myself and I think, it's a bit much sometimes, you know. I mean, and then the next day I'll put it on, and then I'll love it again. So it's like, there's a balance, because I can see myself looking good in other styles, and if I want to ever venture out, I want to do it. But then I've gotten to the point where I'm good at my wardrobe, and I'm good at understanding how to do Gyaru in clothes, in mind, in fashion. And it's like, the minute that I get good at it, I'm going to quit it. But I don't want to quit. I just want to age gracefully. So on and so forth. Which is a funny thing to say with this big ass bow in my head, but yeah, I do. So it's just that I'm just not somebody who wants to work for nothing. And it's the fact that I've worked so hard, and I still have been struggling financially, and I'm still been in these social predicaments where, you know, I'm unfulfilled in my immediate environment in some way, shape or form. It's like, well, instead of trying to upskill for corporate, or upskill for a law firm, or upskill in some other way, why don't I just focus on myself as an individual? Because I've only got so much youth left, you know what I mean? And I've spent up until now just focusing on getting as much experience as possible and getting as many skills as I can. But if I am honest, I want to have a better personal life, instead of just being somebody who is built like, you know, like a corporate machine. Because everybody else, really, they just go to uni for 3 years, maybe 4, and they go straight into the corporate world. I still haven't done that step of going into corporate properly. I've only done internships and things like that. And it is quite jarring to know that you've gone out of your way to do all of these extra experiences and get those skills and get that mindset that is very rare in the UK job market, or UK academia, wherever I could go into, and still get told that you're not enough over and over. And there's a point where it goes from disappointment to determination. So instead of worrying about feedback I get from these things, because yes, I'm somebody who wants to take feedback on board. I think that I should look at myself and think about things I can do just for myself, not things that I can do just to achieve the external goals I want. You know, even things like my fitness and things like that, I'm not miserable, that's such a dramatic word, but I love Muay Thai. And it does pain me that I haven't been in the right state of fitness to do Muay Thai, or that I haven't been in the financial space to do Muay Thai as much as I want to. So I want that to be one of my focuses for next year. I mean, yes, I'm worried about getting clocked in the face, but that doesn't mean anything. I can just avoid sparring if I'm not worried about anybody doing anything to my face. But also, cheerleading was so fun, and I won Stunt Development Cheerleader of the Year, and I was very surprised. But like at the end of the day, I am quite a rarity. I find at Warwick, people, they don't, so like postgraduates and stuff, they don't include themselves in the sports teams or whatever as much as at UOB. So at Birmingham, when I first started Thai boxing, you know, there's PhD students, there's like the Singaporean guys who went to the army and, you know, they're starting at like 26 or whatever. You know, it was quite diverse in terms of age. But at Warwick, it's like it's only the like 18 to 22-year-olds, and you know, a 22-year-old comes in and they're calling him Unk. Meanwhile, I'm 20, I'm 27, just there like, what am I even supposed to do with that information on my mind? Like, yeah, I'm kind of old, but at Birmingham I wouldn't be old. And for the most part, everybody's been lovely when I've been in sports teams. I mean, there's only one person I think who was a bit weird about the fact that I was older. I don't know, she just come up to me and she was just like saying I was old, and like, because everybody's banter, you know what I mean? So I've no issue with like a banter about my age or whatever, because I am a bit old compared to these kids. Like, that's just a fact. But like I could tell there was a bit of like something there, and I was like, why is she so pressed that I'm like getting involved and stuff? She's just kind of like, why are you here? You're old. And I'm like, I'm still a student like everybody else. Like, I come here to just get along with people and to do the sport. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. Like, after graduation, do you just not do sports anymore or something? I don't know. But it's just a bit different in culture, I think, compared to Birmingham. So I feel like everybody's been so nice, and I've gotten along with people so well here. You know, the kids surprise me actually, because everybody keeps talking about like the Gen Z with the Gen Z stare and how these kids don't have any social skills. But these guys are actually, their social skills are probably better than mine, a lot of them. You know, they're really nice, they're fun to be around, and, you know, they did a good job. Like, the ones on exec did a good job at, like, hosting events and everything. So I've had a brilliant time in both of my sports clubs. I've had a brilliant time. But all in all, it's just my age, man. It's being 27 and feeling like I'm still the same person I was at 22 when lockdown happened, and especially with this social knock that I've taken, with people being a bit strange, it's just me reflecting and thinking, well, I want to have better people around me. Like, on a casual level, it's so good. Like, I get along with everybody and everything works really well. You know, I have a great time, and I'm somebody who gets along with absolutely anybody, like, whether it's culture or age, apparently, or whatever the difference may be between me and another person. I can always find a common ground or whatever and have a laugh about whatever, and it's fine. But I do find that I attract a lot of crazies, and even though I vetted the crazies quite well, and I think that I shut down what I needed to shut down as soon as the masks started to slip with people, it's still quite tiring to deal with when you've got a lot of other things to deal with in your life. You know, I'm really happy that I have long-term friends who, I mean, I had to tell them again, another situation has happened, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know why this keeps happening to you. I promise you, not everybody is like that. And even the people that I've met this year who I did open up to a bit like that, they said the same thing. I promise you, not everybody is like that. And I'm like, I know that is logically the case, but when somebody is bad, they are really bad. And I don't know, I attract a lot of people that they don't tend to let things go, and they have kind of vengeful spirits. So when it gets involved in a group, I feel like, especially because nobody has directly said anything to me, but they've gone out of their way to kind of imply they're siding with me, on a situation that I've told nobody about, you know. It's like, okay, so nobody has an issue with me, but then what are they reaffirming me about? Because I haven't said anything. It could only have come from the other party. But if what the other party is saying is that bad, that even their close friends are looking shook, what exactly is being said about me? And no, I don't care. I don't care like what they say about people's opinions, but there's a difference between an opinion and a voiced grievance, because a voiced grievance can turn into vindictive behaviour very easily. So I think that my ability to shut down the crazies and move on is probably the only sign that I can see in myself of growth from when I was that 22-year-old before COVID. Because when I was in a similar situation in my second year of university, and that situation was a lot worse, I didn't trust anybody to open up to about the situation. Instead, everybody saw firsthand when the situation escalated, but nobody did anything to back me, even though they witnessed it. In this case, nobody witnessed anything that happened between me and that person, even though it was, as I said, it's a much smaller scale than anything that happened before COVID. Like I said, all I did was stop talking to somebody. All I did was stop messaging somebody, and yeah, his own friends were shook and coming to me telling me that, like, you know, I'm a lovely person or whatever, and I'm like, I know I'm lovely, like, what's being said about me otherwise, you know? And, you know, everybody hung out with me and continued to get to know me and things, but I could see at one point there was a crossroads because people felt bad, and I don't know why they felt bad. And then my head's like, should I address it? Should I just ignore it and just carry on? And in the end, I chose to just carry on. But I do wish I kind of addressed it now, because everybody's left. And I don't know, it stressed me out. And it stressed me out up until the person who apparently said or did something to get people shook left. And that took, what, 3 months? So in those 3 months where I just shut that person down and then avoided them, you know, it was kind of like, well, what's going to happen now? Because is he going to do anything? Is he not? I didn't need to think that. The only thing I needed to think was about my coursework and about job hunting and about making sure that I didn't balloon again after the marathon, which, to be fair, I've done quite well with all three of those things. So, yeah, it was... This year was stressful, but I've had a good time. I'm not going to lie. My left eye has been twitching for the past few days, and I know that's due to stress. That is normally one of the markers of extreme stress for me, is that my eye will start twitching. And yeah, I hope I can get some rest. I really want to do my makeup today. I was going to do my makeup while I did the update, but I just ended up talking, to be honest. There is a movie night tonight with Postgraduate Society. We're going to watch Mean Girls. I don't know if I want to go to the movie night or if I want to go straight to one of the clubs in Coventry, because there's a 12X bus, and one of them goes to Canley and then one of them goes to Coventry from campus. And I went to Varsity and then got the wrong bus, because I was planning to go to the Two-Tone Cafe today because I haven't had a chance to go all year, and I saw a gap in my schedule. But then I said to myself, no, go tomorrow. You're tired today. Just do a video, just clean your room or whatever, and then head out when you feel ready to. But yeah, so many things have I'm just exhausted, you know. I don't know, like, I want to just take a nap and then head out later. I don't head out later or whatever, but like, I don't even know if I have the energy. I came back to Coventry because I need to. So I had the job interview, but also I'm gonna have to move out soon. So my perfect room, what I've decorated and everything, where I have the studio that I'm using now that I haven't actually really used up until now. I'm gonna have to take everything back home, and yeah, because I really wanted to have a job in Coventry lined up for graduation, but all the interviews have been recent. So even if I do get a job, I'm going to have a gap between when my tenancy here ends and when I'd have to move into a new spot. And then on top of that, my family have decided they want to go to Jamaica. We are going to Jamaica. And because the trip to Jamaica is a few days before I would have planned to move out of here, I now have to move out earlier. So I'm gonna have to pack everything and get out, and it's gonna be pretty intense. I am not looking forward to packing. For the most part, I don't really have things because I already brought some things back home, but for the most part, it should be alright. I'm not gonna stress too much. But yeah, that has been my update on where I've been. I want to vlog more. Of course, when I go to Jamaica, I'm going to do a vlog again. And I do want to go back through all of my old footage eventually. I think now that I'm not in, like neck deep in all of the stress and everything that was bothering me all year, I can now just sit down, get my laptop out, edit everything I need to edit, and then just churn out all them videos one by one. And I think I will enjoy doing that because I have had a good year. But yeah, my problem is I need to learn when to take a break, and I don't know what else I could do, but I just need to learn when to take a break, and then maybe things wouldn't have stressed me out so much. But at the same time, because I burn the candle at both ends and do everything, that's how I feel like I get the most out of something like university, because I thought I was going to do the PhD. I was almost certain I would have gotten to that program, but I didn't. So for all I know, this year is my last year in higher education, and I don't have any regrets about things that I wanted to get involved in and didn't. I did everything that I could have done, that I always thought about doing, and that's how I'm going to graduate from Warwick. So I did the best I could with the skills that I have, So yeah, I've had a brilliant year. Conferences, my department, churning out that final project. I was giggling towards the end because it's nothing compared to law school. Everybody wants to know how it was doing law. Doing law nearly ended me. Doing data visualization, it just awoke something in my mind that I haven't seen much of since I was younger. That creative side. So I'm more than happy that I chose to do something like this. And when I do go to a lot of job interviews and they ask me about data visualization, I can just say to them, dashboards, R coding, Python, Power BI, KPIs, and all this data. Oh, how do you manage economic data? How do you do data management in a way that aligns with GDPR? I've done it all, and I can say that in an interview with confidence now. It's none of this tiptoeing around the idea of actually getting some experience like in the legal field. Now I feel like I've done so many things over and over. I mean, even the fact that I got hired in my department while I've been here says a lot to me, because I never felt like I was getting anywhere in law or in my law school. A lot of the professors did like me and things like that. It's not like they just didn't know who I was. But here, because it's such a small department as well, it's like, you know, I wanted to do something that was legal tech based, and bang, you know, I'm on this digital tracker where I'm making litigation from the global south make sense to people, and all of these niche things that I like, I've done to some capacity while I've been at Warwick. And I don't know, I couldn't ask for anything more. The only thing I could have asked is to not have been so broke all year. But maybe the times when I was broke is where I actually managed to have a bit of a break from stuff, you know, like if I had more money, I would have been at karaoke all the time. And yes, karaoke all the time sounds great in hindsight, but going to and from Leamington and Coventry, and then going from Birmingham to Coventry, and then it's just long, you know. I might have saved myself those journeys, so whatever. I'm gonna do my makeup, and I'm gonna see how I feel about where I want to go tonight. But yeah, more videos soon to come. And if you actually watch the whole of this update, thank you very much for tuning in. I don't know, like when it comes to the I don't know where I want this channel to go. I think that personal vlogs where I show what I'm doing are good. Also where I give like a kind of update on my life is also good. I want to do bits of both. And you know, I see quite a lot of people do that on their channels as well. They do both the personal vlogs where they show where they're going and what they had to eat, and you know, these events that they go to, and then they also just talk to the camera and say what has been going on in their life. And I want to do a bit more of that as well. Not just everything is I went here and I went there, and then, you know, I mean, I've gone to a lot of places, but let's face it, the academic year is over. I've handed in my dissertation yesterday. Everybody left, everybody gone, you know, it done, finish. So I'm going to Jamaica. That is how we're going to end this.